Je sais pas qu'est-ce qui se passe aujourd'hui, mais on dit
I can't really believe that so many people are still working the old way, selling time to a boss every day to get a salary.
Believing in the power of mind and heart, knowing how this universe works, I know we're...
Hello, Abraham. First time. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Over the last few days, people have been asking me, do you have a question for Abraham? What would you ask? And it almost feels like if you're asking the question, then you're resisting the answer.
That's not far from right, because the question and the answer are different frequencies. The way we find you, if you have an intense question, or if you have a soft question and no resistance, you light right up. If you have a powerful question and powerful resistance, we don't see you at all. If you've got really strong desire and some resistance, but strong we can still see you and we can still find you, but the conversation's going to be kind of hard on everybody. And so it's like that, you see. Sometimes, especially in a gathering like this, the longer we are together, the more in sync with who you are. And often your question is inspired from your connection, and that's where you come in. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. So I got to a place that was amazing in the past where anything I imagined showed up. I sell real estate. People would show up at the door as I arrived to buy the property, and everything was just magical.
Yeah. Cooperative components, and you were in rhythm.
Yeah, and it was an amazing place to be.
Yeah.
I feel like I got to that through a conditional way, though.
Maybe, but sometimes what happens is the condition produces an outcome, and the outcome produces an emotional response. And it's possible that then that emotional response can become dominant and then begin producing conditions. It's like we say to you, to all of you, not really a good idea to need a good condition to feel good, because if you're conditional in your approach to life, then good conditions will cause you a connection with Source, and bad conditions will cause you disconnection, and you don't have control. But if you are emphasizing the positive conditions and diminishing the negative conditions, then those conditions can produce positive results for you. But consider this. I look at something that's good and I feel good. And because I feel good, I attract something that feels good. And then I look at this thing that feels good, and because I feel good, then I attract something else that feels good. And then pretty soon, you can't tell whether it was the condition and the feeling, the condition and the feeling, the condition and the feeling, the feeling and the condition and the feeling and the condition, feeling and the condition. So that's what your quest in life is just to keep your eye on that balance. There's nothing wrong. Oh, we want you to be an appreciator. An appreciator is one who is usually appreciating conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I was in an extreme state of appreciation.
Yeah.
And, there was this course I was going through, and I really felt like I finally found my home, and we were genuinely serving other people, and I felt this overwhelming appreciation for that, which
And then
started...
it sounds like it tipped. What happened?
Well, that's my question.
Did you become aware of the way other people were perceiving you? Did you feel guilty about thriving when everyone else wasn't? Did you try to explain to them?
Others questioned it. I mean, I guess that's my question for you.
Well, that's our
felt
answer to you, because it was a bit conditional, and that's all right. It's hard to teach people what we're talking about here. It's hard to teach them that the difference between a question and an answer. It's hard to teach people that their emotions are important. And so most people are wanting to evaluate how they should behave based upon their observation of your behavior. And watching your behavior doesn't get them very far. Feeling what you're feeling does. In other words, if someone were to say, I know this guy, and he just seems so confident no matter what. He just doesn't let markets get him down or a slow month get him down. He just stays eternally optimistic. It's like he's got a long-range plan, and his long-range plan is working, and he doesn't sweat the small stuff. Then their observation of your smooth demeanor and your happy mood would be something for them to take to their bank and cash. But if, on the other hand, they say, I know this guy, and he sold 5 properties every month, and I don't know how he does it. He's like got the magic Midas touch, and I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I wish I had his database, or I wish I was part of his group. Then they're not getting anything from you that they can utilize in a way that will benefit them. It's your emotional response to life that is your true gift of helping them to understand how this works.
So the key is, I don't want...
The key is for you to feel good no matter what, and for them to know you're feeling good no matter what. For you to let them know conditions in the moment are of no interest to you. Conditions don't matter. What matters is your steady knowing of what's coming. Your long-range picture, your big picture. And we're not just talking about the market or the city or the interest rate. We're talking about the long-range plan. We're talking about source energy on your side. We're talking about everything that you ask for your whole life. We're talking about your vibrational reality. We're talking about the big picture of who you are. We're talking about your believing in your worthiness. Your believing in your prosperity. Your believing that it's all working out no matter how it looks in any moment in time. That's that big picture that we're talking about. But there's a lot of people not ready to hear that. They don't want to hear those words from you, but you can demonstrate it through your steadiness.
That's what I want, to just walk in that knowing.
Yeah. Well, we have a question for you. The biggest question we've ever asked of anybody. And you're going to love it as it settles within you, and you're going to love the answer that comes out of you. So, ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, we're out of time.
It's not nice.
If you did not have the opportunity to not always have a situation that you're responding positively to, how would you ever have that gift that we just talked about to give to somebody else? People think that they need to be prosperous to teach prosperity. But what that does, it makes people believe that you can be prosperous if you're already prosperous. That makes people believe that it will work after it's already working. But how would you know that it always comes back around if you didn't give yourself an opportunity for it to come back around? Can't teach what you don't know.
So having gone through it, you're a better teacher for others.
Because in a little manifestational dry spell, there's still the emotional oasis or wet spell. You don't need those results in order to feel optimistic, because you've got the big picture. You know things are always working out. It doesn't matter how they appear. You've got your eye here.
So appreciation is the eye's vibration, right?
Say again?
Appreciation, is that the closest vibration to source?
Yeah, appreciation is, but not just appreciation. Being interested in something, enjoying your shower, having a nice meal, taking time away and just loving this moment in time.
Enjoying all the bits of life and finding things to appreciate.
Because the goal is connection to source, not selling the property.
And so those
The
are...
goal is connection to source.
I mean, is that not conditional? I mean, the shower and appreciating these things.
It is, but it's a condition that in the moment that you're living it is not lack-based. You're right about that, and that's one of the things that we said to you, is that when you are appreciating something that's a positive condition, then you could get twisted around in your thoughts and think that it's a conditional-based exercise. So feel good when the condition is good, and then logically feel bad when the condition is bad. But we want you to teach yourself that you can feel good regardless of the condition. The way we sometimes talk about this is, first we like to talk about every subject is two subjects. It's like picking up a stick, and on one end of it is wanted, and on the other end of it is the absence of what is wanted. But it's not just this one stick and this one subject. There's a whole pile of sticks. So let's say you reach into a pile of sticks called my real estate business, my livelihood, my financial prosperity stick. And let's say that right now things are just really romping for you, and so picking up that stick is just easy for you to feel tuned in, tapped in, turned on. But let's say that for whatever reason that stick doesn't feel like that. You're a little worried about something. And so you pick up that stick, and now it's activated something in you that causes you to not be under the influence of source. Well, what we would like to say to you that somewhere in that pile of sticks is a subject where you can feel good. And it might be the stick called shower right now. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what excuse you use to find your natural appreciation that you're not forcing. When you find it, then all the other ends of this stick light up for you.
So that kind of leads to my next question. I can't watch the news. I mean, I can't. There's so many negative things in the world.
We watch it because we love the extraordinary expansion of the vortex, the likes of which the world has never seen. In other words, the more people are worried about, the more they're asking.
And it's all working perfectly, and yes. So there are times I try to find something to focus on that is neutral, that I'm not charged about. And you know, I tried sports for a while, and then your team loses, and you're like, okay, well, maybe that was, and then that was conditional.
You shouldn't mock our shower idea.
No, the shower's great.
We're just saying there's always something that you can find if you care about it, if you care about feeling good.
So the question is, it seems like the only thing that's not conditional, that is always going to be there and is always going to be positive, is the vortex.
Well, let's be really fair and real and clear about this. You could say, if you really wanted to nitpick with us, that your inner being stands in your vortex with everything that you've asked for and takes absolute delight in the knowledge of how this all works. And you could call that knowledge that your inner being holds a eternal condition. If you want to talk about an eternal optimist, it's got to be your inner being. And you know why your inner being is eternally optimistic? Because your inner being knows how this works. Your inner being knows that you were willing to come into this body and you're willing to explore contrast. And in that willingness that you would, whether you wanted to or not, or whether you were consciously aware of it or not, you would be launching rockets of desire and the universe would expand. So it's easy for your inner being to watch for your new requests, because the way everything in this universe is set up is for those requests to be born. The only difference worth noting between you and your human form and your inner being in its non-physical form is that your inner being never focuses upon the resistance part of the equation. And there's nothing wrong with you doing it. In fact, you were born to do it. You were born to give birth to those desires. Your inner being is just playing a different role. So your inner being knows that there will be moments in time where your desire will be stronger than it was before because of something that you've lived. And your inner being sees that as a good thing, not a bad thing. That your desire will be stronger. Because your inner being knows when your desire is stronger that more is happening in your vortex. And law of attraction is responding to your desires. The law of attraction is responding to your desires, and the law of attraction is responding to your beliefs about your desires. But this is the distinction that we are emphasizing while we are together on this voyage, that maybe you have not been as aware of as we would like you to be aware of. You have your inner being and your inner being's attention to your subject on your side at all times. When your inner being focuses upon something, since your inner being always focuses upon it with no resistance, that is a powerful point of attraction. You are so well served when you join your inner being in your inner being's point of attraction, when your inner being is focused upon the things that you care about, which is all the time. Did you follow that? This is the attitude that a lot of humans have after they've listened to us for a little while. Maybe you might be thinking this now. So my inner being's over there, all frisky and tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and all powerful because they have no resistance. Lucky them, they have no resistance. Lucky them. This is your human thought. Lucky them, they have no resistance. And they're very powerful. And I could join them just by reaching for good feeling thoughts. Or I could stay over here where I don't feel good and make my own way. And we say, why would you do that? And you say, well, I have lots of reasons. I want to be valiant. I want to be revered by other humans who are having a hard life. I want to make my mark on the chart. I want to do what my mother told me I had to do. I want to struggle and sacrifice and have hard work. Sacrifice and have hard work. Sacrifice and